In my job, mental preparation is absolutely everything. I'm super competitive, I always have been. I hate losing. It's okay to admit that, but when I do lose, rather than dwell on it, I realize I can't do anything about the past except for learn about it. I started to learn how to prepare myself better so that I arrived more relaxed, more confident in what it is I had to do. Mental preparation is key for all of us. I wasn't always aware of the connection between the mind and the body. I would feel things and physically, and then I would feel things mentally, and sometimes it's just difficult to understand where are those feelings coming from, what's causing that stress, why do I have those aches in my body. So it's been a process of learning over time. There are so many different methods out there, so it's just trial and error. From what I've experienced is trying new things. Like now I do yoga, which helps calm me down. Feeling good in your body helps you feel great in the mind. If you're feeling great physically, then naturally it releases endorphins. If I go for a run in the morning before, or if I roll out of bed and I do 50, 100 press-ups and sit-ups, it releases, there's scientific proof, it releases positive endorphins in your body, and you start to feel great. And so that's why I encourage people to do some form of exercise, and whether it's taking a walk or whatever it may be, because that definitely helps you de-stress and helps you be more laser focused. And I've tried lots of different diets. Some have, some haven't worked. And I've tried lots of different training methods. I think you have to find what works for you. Today I have the pretty much perfect method or I'm still refining it, but it's almost perfect, the prep that I have in order to get myself centered, be calm in mind. I put my music on, I go into my stretching, then there's a few other things like interviews that follow that, and then come back to my room, and I need like 20 minutes to focus, calm my heart rate down, be present. There's those few stages that I take, and then I walk into the garage. I'm like, wow, this is my dream. This is what I always wanted to do. So I'm gonna go out there and give it everything. Protecting your mind and your thought process, I think it's not easy. We're surrounded by so many things. There's a lot of bad things that are happening in the world that can be upsetting. I know from one person just saying something negative to you can have different things firing in your brain, causing doubts. It could be someone as simple as saying, oh, you're wearing a green shirt. What does that mean? So learning ways in which to deflect negativity, I think, is important. So before a race, I try not to be on my phone. I try not to be dealing with issues, whether it's work-related, whether it's through personal relationships. I put those things aside. I put my phone aside. I only use my phone on the race weekend for music, because for music, it gets me inspired. I think most people, it's the same when you're doing a workout, or music is really the key to the soul, right? You can have music for the emotional days, and you ride out that wave. Helps you release the tears or whatever it may be. But freeing the mind, I think, is key. So finding what works for you. Music does that for me. Mental preparation for me starts already from the previous race, if I'm really honest. So we could have a week, or it could be 2 weeks. I often start on my Monday, wake up Monday morning with a mission. And that's to be the happiest and reach my goal on Sunday when I eventually return home. There's these certain things that I feel that I need to do before, and it's all about preparation. So it's communicating with my engineers and setting the game plan. What are we learning from the last race? Where do we go wrong? What are we going to do about it this time? And there's steps in which we we go through. So we have our engineering meeting, and in that meeting, I'm writing down notes, different departments. So the tire guys, the strategy guys, the vehicle dynamics, they're telling you all the different challenges that we'll face in that day and how we're going to deal with those, things to look out for, where things could go wrong. These are the pitfalls that we need to avoid, like damaging the car. So I write those things down. Then after that meeting, then I have a document that I have to read, a document that my engineers have put together, which is highlighting the things we've learned over the weekend, some of the things from the previous race. It can be things like tire temperatures, and which corner the tires are at their highest temperatures. And it could be about the start, the target that you have to hit with the clutch. It could be what lap we're planning to pit, or the multiple different options of depending on what position you are after the start, and how it's going in terms of your tire life, when you're going to stop, if you stop 5 laps earlier than target stop, or 5 to 10 laps later than the target stop, and all these different things. So I'm trying to make sure, so I do that research, write it down, so I'm mentally prepared. And I honestly, I can't emphasize how important preparation is. When I'm racing at those high speeds and I've got mixed of emotions, and sometimes some things I get right, some things, I make these small mistakes along the way, and it's really easy to let my thoughts run away and down a negative route. Finding a way to be present enabled me to deliver on a different level. It's things you can learn, like mindfulness. So you can read up online of what mindfulness is, and being present, not thinking too far ahead, not thinking or dwelling on the past, focusing on right now. You don't know what's up ahead, but preparation helps with that. There are so many distractions that are around us. Your phone can be a distraction, for example, or relationships if you're worried about something that's happened over the past days or something that's been unspoken of. So you have to learn to be able to compartmentalize those things, park them aside, and deliver and arrive with that positive energy. If I bring negative energy into my engineers, they will all receive that, they'll feel that vibe, brings their vibe down. So you have to put it aside and bring that energy. Being right in the moment, whether it's like with your family and not being on your phone, like things when I'm with friends and we're at the dinner table and everyone's on their phones. So I'd learned from someone, let's all put our phones in the middle. The first person that picks that phone up has to pay for the dinner. And it means it forces us all to have conversations. And so being present, I think, in general in life it's so important. You have to find what works for you. I don't believe that what will work for me necessarily will work for you, or maybe it will. But if someone tells you do it this way, I don't think that's ever worked for me. So it's been a process of finding what works for me and how can I operate best in my environment. For example, my engineers, they can study data all day for hours and hours. I can't. My mind, I have overload. And it's probably like half an hour, 40 minutes into a meeting. It was probably 27 minutes into a meeting that I start to switch off. So I say to the guys, hold on a second, I just need a breather. I get up, shake off, have a drink, then I can come back and refocus. And so it's just discovering through trial and error what works for you, and so that you can be the best and you can operate and absorb the most information and be the most impactful. And that's been something that I've been tweaking each year. Even at the end of this season, I will write down on how the year's gone. I reflect on it, or after each race. And I'm constantly modifying how much time I give to, whether it's my stretching or I'm adding something new that I've learned during the week. I don't think I'm ever going to stop evolving that, because there's still more potential. For those out there that do have something big coming up, or whether it's a presentation, whether it's a competition, preparation, as I said, is everything. preparing yourself physically and mentally is a process that you need to find out how to do that for yourself. I do that through, as I said, through stretching, meditating for even if it's 5 or 7 minutes. And again, that's also just about being present in that moment, taking time for you. The prep is also making sure you've studied. I have to overstudy because the engineers that I'm with are super academics. I'm talented in the car, but if I'm not studied up on the data, on all the information about the car, all the numbers, then I will forget those things, and I won't be as it's all about being a complete driver, right? So, and then just not overdoing it. I think you can overstudy, you can over prepare. So you've got to listen to your body, getting rest and taking deep breaths is something I also do. Like in qualifying, for example, I come in and I sit there and I take a deep breath. I'm about to go out for Q3. It's make or break. If I don't do the lap, I won't be where I want to be, which is on first. And so I take those deep, full inhale breaths, and along the same lines, I tell myself, you got this. I just wanted to say to you that whether or not you suffer from mental health issues, so many people do, and it's so important to speak up about it. Speak to someone near you, or if you know of a friend, take a moment to text them or give them a call, let them know you're thinking about them, find out how they're doing, support them in any way you can. Because there's so many people that are suffering in silence. And naturally, it's such a beautiful world we live in, but life is tough. And it's great to give out an olive branch to some people, but just so they know they're not alone.